Hello everyone, finally catching up on the pre-Christmas videos here. Got another video request. Hello, I was wondering how much you'd want to do a video. I read them as they write them. I'm a 25-year-old member of the patriarchy. Right now I spend most of the year living on my family's ranch in a sheep wagon. I don't disbelieve them for half a second. I have $0 in necessary monthly costs, and about once a year I buy some 50-pound bags of beans, rice, and grains to live on. Really, if I wasn't as lazy, I could probably grow and kill enough food to stay happy. I'm lucky enough to have the ranch buy all my fuel, auto parts, and insurance. So you're not independent. The ranch is buying it. My skills are an inch deep and a mile wide. I'm a welder, machinist, mechanic. I've soldered together my own custom fuel injection system boards, program working EFI systems, etc., but I'm not an expert in any one thing because I only learned just enough to get a particular project working. In all honesty, I'm quite happy with my current number of obligations. The problem is that I'm sort of depressed with how limited my prospects are due to very limited cash flow. I've tried living in town to work, but after taxes, rent, utilities, and having access to entertainment, fast food, and women, I'm better off being a hermit. I feel like I'm persistent enough. If I'm persistent enough, I feel like I'm persistent enough to really enjoy and take pride in building and creating things of value, but I don't have the money to really start a proper business. Like right now, I'm trying to save to build a 5-axle CNC mill. Everything that isn't complete crap is so ridiculously expensive. Some advice: the bitterness of poor quality lasts long after the sweetness of a low price is forgotten. Well, before we get too far involved into it, look, the real world, I shouldn't even say the real world, the normal world, if you want, because you are a true minimalist. You're getting by on very little, and you have some amazing skills. The problem is that they are a mile wide and an inch deep, and that's not how the economy operates. The economy gets by and advances through specialization. You're trying to do everything that you possibly can, and these are great skills to have in terms of survivalism. If the economy falls apart and there is no exchange and stuff like that, you'll be King Poobah, but the world hasn't fallen apart yet. And so you're starting to run into that problem where it's like the rest of society, including the economy, and all the tools and equipment you would like to buy cost money, right? So you are going to have to interact with, quote, normal society and work a real job, or somehow pimp out your work as a jack of all trades to get money to go buy all the tools you want. You will have to leave the ranch and interact. There's no other way, because that's how you get money. That's how you get other people. The guy who specializes in making those mills, they don't work for free, and they're very specialized. You got to go and get what they want, money, and that means you got to participate in the normal world. But I like what you're doing so far. I have no credit score, no assets that I could borrow against, and a sort of moral objection to debt. I firmly believe that the people who vote for a free lunch without producing anything of real value, the parasites and the bubble-inflating debt slaves, are going to cause a sovereign debt crisis in the U.S. So I'm thinking to myself, who benefits the most from a currency collapse? Debt holders. The way I see it is that the people who are young are not debt holders, but debt owers. In debt, own hard assets, and have real skills will benefit the most. None of this paper Ponzi scheme, pie-in-the-sky pension plan bullshit is going to do well through that kind of a situation. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to go back to college, take out every student loan they'll give me, because I'll get back to pay, because I think I'll get to pay them back with worthless notes. No, you can't take that risk. You cannot take that risk. If you're going to go back to college and take other people's money, that's other people's time, you are going to have to work and pay them back. Right? Because you can't rely on the economy collapsing. Here's the thing with the United States economy collapsing. We're not going to collapse, statistically speaking. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a slow decay. Because I don't know if you noticed, Russia kind of having their ruble troubles and China having their debt troubles. We are the best looking horse in the glue factory, as they say. I forget who said it, some female economist. And that means our dollar and currency is going to last the longest. We're the least fat sister at the dance. I don't know how else you can put it. So can something collapse? Absolutely. We go to war. Something terrible could happen. Absolutely. But you can't bet on that. So if you're going to spend 2.5 years and you're going to borrow money that's not yours, you got to be prepared to work in the real world to pay it off. I would say, instead of dicking around 2.5 years going after a mechanical engineering degree, why don't you just tough it out 2.5 years over in the normal world? Make the money you need to buy a 5-axis CNC mill. It can't take you 2.5 years to work that up. During that time, I could use the loans to finance a small. During that time, I could use the loans to finance a small business while I'm still living on the cheap. So probably a bet. Yeah. What do you mean you're going to start a business? Now you have to. Whether you work for the real world or sell to the real world, it's still interacting with the real world. Here's what I think you should do. You got enough skills that you could probably start approaching and look for apprenticeships under different welders, metal workers, whatever else have you. You could maybe pimp yourself out on Craigslist. I don't know how big and how close to a big city you are, but that's something to consider too. A guy with your skills should be able to go into a shop and pretty much without a degree or any kind of certification say, look, I'm self-taught, blah, 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 what do you got? The other thing is, if you want to start your own business, start something on the internet where you make something and sell it. I don't know if you have a craft skill, something that you could produce that people want and you sell it online, therefore you don't have to really interact with people that much. But yeah, this idea of going to college and then hoping the economy crashes so that you don't have to pay back, or you can pay back with inflated dollars, no. You take that 2.5 years, buy your equipment, get yourself that mill. The larger issue you have is you can't be living. What are you gonna do when your parents die? I mean, and the ranch is sold. You gotta come up with a plan B. You gotta come up with something. So I know you're trying to do that with your business, but try to make another foray into the real world. Not just to build up some capital so you can buy the equipment and machinery you want, but start thinking what you can sell on your own over there on the ranch that you make and you have a good time. What can you make? What product and service? Kind of like the Amish. They don't go to Chicago, but they'll produce goods and wares and furniture that's sold in Chicago. So I think that's what you got to do. Heck, I got a fucking fireplace, wood-burning stove made by the Amish. Silo, something like that. I mean, it's a good quality thing. Regardless, my point is you're not, until that collapse comes, you got to figure out how to live, man, and that means you're going to unfortunately have to interact with the 99.9% of the population that is not as well prepared as you for a collapse environment. That collapse environment is not here, so you have to live in this world. So, sorry to shoot your dreams down, but yeah, that you just imagine if you had debts that you had to pay back and then you had no way to fucking pay it back. It just sounds horrible. So anyway, keep doing what you're doing, but see if you can tailor it and mold it into something that will get people buying your stuff, giving you money, so you can actually make a living interacting with the rest of the population. Tools.